Welcome everyone. This is such a great event. I was honored to be part of the Brandeis family for 10 wonderful years. So without any further ado, I'm going to begin. Welcome to the Late, Too Late Now show, featuring the top 10 DOE indicators of impending doom.
Will the following people please come forward? Carol Storch, Susan Siegel-Sobel, Vera Springer, Yesenia Cardona, Eric Woolner, Debbie Wall, Kathy Atwell, Bruce Levinson, Cheryl Brown, Libby Bleeman.
Star.
Well-spoken individual arrives to inform you that you are about to become a school of excellence. Dust off your resume and head for the hills.
I don't think the mic is talking to the mic.
It is. Number 2. If Mr. Joel Klein is the keynote speaker at your graduation and kisses your principal, beware, it's the kiss of death.
That's nice.
I generally don't need a microphone. I generally just use my mouth, but here I go. If your faculty and students are told they are about to be tamed or civilized, get ready for a 3-ring circus.
Number 4. If your cabinet is dubbed a dream team, don't worry, the nightmare will soon begin.
Number 5. If a local politician appears in a hard hat, flanked by architects with rolls of plans, get ready for nursery rhymes and babysitting duty.
Number 6. If on your campus, one of your staff or students strays into charter territory, get ready for a 911 call to report alien intruders.
And if you're lucky enough to be in a place where the students call you by your last name, sit at desks, and don't share your bathroom, get ready for a transfer to a school where the dean is called a wellness counselor.
If your school is named after a historical figure rather than a fruit, careers, or a buzzword, get ready for renaming ceremony.
If your school gets a new library, science labs, smart boards, and 5 separate cafeterias, but your students use chalkboards and Xerox sheets and eat in a former book room, the end is near.
But if you've worked, earned, and played hard with a team of colleagues you respect and care about, and if former students give you shout-outs and hugs and kisses whenever you meet, you know you're from LDB, which always strove to be a school of excellence for all it served.
That he thought I could never handle a class. But then he came into the auditorium where there were 250 students, and they weren't doing badly at all, and neither was I. So we were off to the races. Life at the High School of Commerce, or Brandeis High School, or the Dice, or anything you want to name it, was like a tale of two cities. It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. My memories of it, and I have to mention a few people, and I don't mean to leave anyone out, but I just thought that I could try to pick a few of the people and events that, to me, personified the place I love. First of all, it's Mary Cohn, with his hat back on his head, coat over his arm, Henrietta next to him, Mrs. George on the other side, and his belt buckle with a big B, and his tie clasp that said Brandeis. He always asked you one question: is it good for the students? And that was his main concern. And that was the main concern, I am sure, of everyone else here. I also remember an incident that sort of sums it all up. We had a dean named Ronnie Watman. One of my lasting memories of the annex is when Ronnie was trying to open a window with one of those very large window poles, and a young man did something. And he took off down the hall, and Ronnie took off after him with the window pole under her arm, looking like something out of a Wagnerian opera, with the student, another student running after her because she had lost the fall from her hairdo on the way. And that sort of epitomized the way things did. We had a pool that Bob Straussman ran, where we all put in $1 to guess what time Mr. Cohn would show up at the parents' night. And we had many professional development afternoons at the Hayden and Chips Pub. Later, the younger faculty had them at Keeley's and the Firehouse. And they produced some of the best lessons that were ever written. I'm not sure they ever got taught, because I'm not sure anyone remembers what they were. But we certainly had a grand time, and we closed the annex with a grand party. We had wonderful people. We had Hannah Lewis, who was one of the most elegant, lovely women, who would tell you it straight out in the most lovely English, but forget it, you weren't going to get what you wanted. And as for Brandeis itself on West 84th, Brandeis to me represents US and New York City history. I remember H. Rap Brown outside demonstrating. I remember Olatunji doing his native dances. I remember Miss Ubiel's wonderful culture shows. And I remember also all the wonderful and fabulous people we lost to the scourge of AIDS, and we made the quilt art and put their names on it, and it traveled around the United States. But most of all, we remember the students. And I know that all of you have experienced some of what I've experienced. I went to visit someone in the neurological ICU at St. Luke's, and the head doctor was from Brandeis. The young woman who takes my blood at Mount Sinai every once in a while turned to me and said, "I remember you. You taught me English. I was in the health careers." There's a girl who sells Coach bags on 84th Street and Broadway. Another youngster who is the manager of D'Agostino's. And there's whoever he was who honked the horn one day and said, "Hey Martin, LDB, LDB." And there are so many success stories that nobody writes about the teachers also who collected money for students who had to go to live in a shelter, the wonderful guidance counselors who sat downstairs waiting for BCG to come to take care of some youngster who'd finally gotten the courage to say what was going on. But it was also some other stories. There was the young woman who worked in my office, had a mentor at AIG, and said to me, "I'm going home. I've put my boyfriend out, and I'm going to oversee him pack." And 3 hours later, that young woman was no longer with us. There's the youngster whom we had downstairs who had to be told that something terrible had happened in his or her family. And then there was the young man whom I met one evening on Broadway, and he was begging for money. And I looked under you should excuse me, his hoodie. And I said, and I won't say his name, RB, is that you? What are you doing here? And he said what I often heard when I came around the corner, oh shit, it's Mrs. Martin. And we talked for a few minutes and I gave him a token and he went, I told him where the nearest shelter was because we didn't save everybody, we couldn't. But we did our best and we succeeded with very many students. And we also attended weddings, bar mitzvahs, communions, confirmations, and far too many wakes and funerals of our staff. People of every culture, religion, political belief, all got along pretty darn well. And when somebody didn't get along with us, luckily most of them left. So I have to say, except for a few at the top. But I just wanted to read something that I found, if I can find it. It was a definition of what a teacher is. And I think it sort of sums up what everybody in this room would believe. A successful teacher needs the education of a college president, the executive ability of a financier, the humility of a deacon, the adaptability of a chameleon, the hope of an optimist, the courage of a hero, the wisdom of a serpent, the gentleness of a dove, the patience of Job, the grace of God, and the persistence of the devil. It is fabulous to see all of you, and I think that there are very few places where people would travel so far and make the effort to come out. And it says a great deal about us, about our profession, and about a place that someone once mistakenly said to me, it's just a building. And I thought, oh no, you're very, very wrong. Our children grew up here, our own children. When I mentioned people who were coming here today, my daughter said, oh my God, I remember him. He was so cute. And I thought, well, you might not think so now, you know. But we know each other's secrets, and we know each other's blessings, and we know each other's sorrows. And this is a very special time. Enjoy yourself, dance your feet off, and pat yourselves on the back, folks, because we're all pretty damn good. Thanks.
Bravo!